Not that we promote gambling on the show, but on all those websites now that at halftime or whenever in the game you can hit cash out? Don't you wish for the Tennessee game you could have hit cash out at halftime? Tennessee was up 20-7, and then the second half comes, and there goes the money. Vols lose this one to Alabama. Man, they look good for a half. But what happened in the second half? We'll talk about that next on the Volunteer Club Locker Room, powered by Spyre Sports. This is the Players Show. You know what I love is I've been used to for years when Austin Price has been on the show, and he'll be back at some point in time, just not in the next couple of years. But anyway, when I would say something stupid, he would give me this weird look. You have replaced Austin on that, because when I'm over there talking about hitting the cash out button at halftime, you're over here going, what? But you know what I was saying.
Absolutely. I mean, I think Tennessee fans wish they could just knee the ball the whole second half and just run the clock out.
Yeah.
And go win, but that's not how the game works. And you learn a big lesson from this game. A lot of good things, but a lot of bad.
At halftime, when Heupel walked off the field, they interviewed him, Tennessee up 20-7, and he gave the stock standard answer of it's a 60-minute game, but he ran off with a look in his eye like we got him. But he was right. It's 60 minutes.
It's a 60-minute game. I think we talked about that a little before the show. We haven't put together a full game of football yet, and we haven't played complementary football. Coming out in the second half, everyone was confident. I think we all were kind of waiting to go to that next step. We all were kind of expecting it to go that way, and it just didn't happen.
I interview Heupel at halftime of every game.
That was after he said what I said, but
you can tell when Tennessee's down, you can tell when Tennessee's up, and he still had a sense of urgency as if Tennessee was down because he knew that Alabama was going to come out in the second half and play a lot better, especially behind the crowd. Nick Saban was really encouraging his fans to be a part of the game, and they wasn't in the first half.
Yeah.
But in the second half, Alabama's team gave them a reason to get into the game.
You know what's so interesting is a lot of time when a graphic is put on the screen on TV or somebody talks about it in radio, all of a sudden it completely goes the other direction. That graphic a couple of weeks ago that said in the first 31 games, Heupel was 22-0 with the lead at halftime and was 0-9 when behind at halftime. Tennessee's behind to A&M, they come back and win. It changes the cycle. They're ahead against Alabama, they lose, it changes the cycle. It doesn't say anything, but just kind of odd.
It's very odd. I mean, usually with Coach Heupel, you can put that stat and you can take that to the bank.
Right.
Score 30 points, we win, have something going like that. That's just what it is. So we didn't play well enough to win. We got some key takeaways there. I mean, Milton, you look at that, if we go from last week to this week, he had 100 yards last week. We're looking at 271 yards, rushed the ball well. If you look at that stat, Jason, we should win the game.
Joe Milton did his job,
Played
for
well.
the most part. I mean, you're not going to play perfect. It's hard to do that. But Joe Milton gave you 330 yards plus in total offense. He did not throw an interception. Obviously, you had the fumble sack there. You can look at the protection, but the penalties, really lopsided there.
We asked him to run the ball. He ran the ball. The penalties are bad.
Pretty lopsided there, but Joe played well, man.
Yeah.
He really did.
Yeah.
We said we weren't going to focus on the penalties. However, our guest here tonight is defensive back Gabe Judy-Lally. We'll talk to him in just a bit. One of the worst calls that I think I've seen in a long time at a really bad time, but we said we wouldn't talk about that. Okay, so I'm going to ask you a question about the going forward on fourth down. At what point in time, and there's another Swain look, I love these, okay? At what point in time is Heupel being aggressive versus being suicidal?
I like the call of going for it. I don't really care about the play that we called. You got a guy who's 250 pounds. I think you call the play to get him just quicker. I don't like putting him in the shotgun and having time to make a decision, but I like it. He's always gambled. He's always taking those. Yeah, I was good with going for it. I really was.
I mean, you look at the tush-push that's been a football craze over the last couple of years. The Eagles do a great job with it. Now when you see a quarterback in the shotgun, it just makes you cringe a little bit. But you understand the importance of the shotgun. It's hard to go under center when you go shotgun all the time.
Right.
So I do understand that. But Joe Milton was running the ball very well, 250 pounds, was finishing runs. As far as going forward, I think Heupel in the first 2 years had to do a lot of it because the defense wasn't as good.
And that's what I was about to say, is what point in time does he understand this is a different defense?
Well, this team, the defense is better than the offense.
Well, yeah.
And so the defense was put in some really tough situations when you went forward there at midfield. But at the end of the day, if you are a Tennessee football player on offense, you should be able to pick up a yard. And that's the mentality. If you don't gain a yard, if you can't gain a yard, maybe you shouldn't deserve to win.
Why in football now? I mean, I'm older than you guys. I'm 54.
We
and
know.
you're not. Okay,
Thank you.
all right. Here
We know.
It's
Yeah,
called
got a
hair,
4-week-old grandson.
hair
We know.
color for men. Thank you.
We see that,
Got
see that
two
gray
grandkids.
hair.
So, here's the question. Years ago, when I grew up watching football, if a coach went for it on 4th down, man, it was a stand up out of your chair. Oh my gosh, he's going for it on 4th down. Now, if they don't go for it on 4th down, you're like, what are you doing? Come on.
It's happening more and more. I mean, guys are going for it on 4th down. You're seeing it in a college game, you're seeing it in an NFL game, and I think these coaches are calling plays that they know, and they're practicing them much more, so it's just happening. You have to be able to go for it. Sometimes you have to be instinctual. You have to just do it. And in that game, we had the momentum going. Things were going our way. Obviously, our defense was playing well, but I think Coach Heupel was kind of going for the juggler there and really wanted to kind of put the game away.
I mean, I need some more clarity on why. I'm an offensive guy, so I'm always in love to go for it on 4th down. But Alabama wasn't an offense that was like last year.
Right.
Or when Tua was a quarterback. Remember Tennessee's offense last year? LSU, the Floridas that we went up against, those teams had to go for it on 4th down more because our offense was so potent because you try to keep up with our offense. Alabama's offense, they're not potent at all. They're averaging 20-something yards a game. They can't run the football. Jalen Milroe is inconsistent. So it felt like we was pressing a little too much, thinking that we were going up against a better offense than we really was. I feel like our defense is really, really good this year, and it was just tough to put them in that situation.
So you'd have punted.
On one of those, I would have definitely punted.
Okay.
Because I just like the way our defense was playing, and I thought field position means so much in a game like this where two offenses are not necessarily juggernauts. But I think on the other side of that, if you're Heupel, you have confidence in your players. Like when you go for it on 4th down, you're letting your offense know, I trust you, I believe in you, and you want your coach to feel that way about you.
But is that something where and I'm not sitting here second guessing Hype because he's a great coach and we're lucky to have him and there's going to be a lot of wins in the future. I'm just talking about, is it a mindset that's got to change in a coach that's an offensive coach to say, my defense is probably better right now?
Well, I think he's going to grow and he's going to evolve to that. You heard him say last week he hadn't been in a game like the Texas A&M game in a while. So he's having to learn. He's having to learn and grow with the defense. He hadn't had a defense. He's used to having to score points. It's used to being splash play.
Get to 52 to beat Alabama.
Yeah, so you had to do that. Now you have a defense. You have guys who can get pressure, and they're playing much better. So I think Coach Hype will adapt to that.
I think he has adapted some because I don't see the tempo being as fast as it was in the first 2 years.
True.
I mean, we're averaging 4 or 5 plays per minute.
It used to be almost
It used to be
right?
almost 3 plays per minute. So the tempo has dialed back a little bit. And I think because Heupel understands that he has a really good defense that he can work with.
All right, we're going to take a break here. We'll throw the QR code up to be a member of the Vol Club. And there he is. He's taking a picture of it. This is what he does. Scan the QR code to be a member of the Vol Club and support the NIL initiative. That is the collective here at Tennessee. Gabe Judy-Lally going to be in studio here in just a couple of minutes, defensive back. Josiah Jordan James, by the way, is in studio kind of kicking it for something else we're working on. So we appreciate the guys being in the studio. When we come back, I want to talk about the Kentucky game because you got to move past Alabama. You got some tough games coming up that will define this season. That's next on the Volunteer Club Locker Room.
The Volunteer Club Locker Room is brought to you by the Volunteer Club. Real Vol fans are members of the Volunteer Club. Food City, Exterior Home Solutions, Lincoln Memorial University, Glass Doctor, and Garza Law.
Attention shoppers, don't forget to ask our certified butchers for great recipe tips.
This is an authentic butcher shop,
where meat is hand-cut in-store, beef is ground fresh daily, and expert advice from a certified butcher
is always free of charge.
Free advice? That's what I call value. The quality I crave, the value I count on.
Nobody does food like Food City.
Abraham Lincoln knew the power of an open door. He invited the public into the White House throughout his presidency because he understood open doors lead to new possibilities, new opportunities, and new discoveries. At LMU, our mission is to open doors for every student who comes here, so they can become everything they're meant to be. Come discover how we can open doors for you.
You know, life happens, and damage to your home can be extremely stressful. That's why it's important to find someone who offers efficient, quality work with financing options. Exterior Home Solutions, they value not only family, but community. And they're who I call when life happens, and you should too.
Reach for the power with Dynabody Fitness. New Dynabody equipment is manufactured right here in Tennessee and shipped all over the country. Custom built, rugged, and guaranteed for life. Visit Dynabody.com and experience the difference.
I'm Coach Josh Heupel with Tyler and Will from the Sports Animal.
For UT Info in the afternoon, no one does it like 99.1.
From Josh and Swain through Tyler and Will, you're blanketed in orange.
No one covers the Vols like 99.1, the Sports Animal.
Your roof, it's the most important protection against nature for your home or your business. That's why I trust the experts at Exterior Home Solutions.
Okay, so the Garza play of the week. Look, I would love for it to have been the touchdown to Squirrel. Unfortunately, the play of the game from where I sit is when Tennessee had the lead in the third quarter and went for it on fourth down on their own side of the field. We've harped on that. We've talked about that. Unfortunately, that is the Garza play of the week. You want to say something about it? Let's move on.
Let's just move on.
Let's move on. Okay, all right. So here's the good thing about Kentucky this weekend. Their strength on offense is Tennessee's strength on defense. If there's a matchup that I like, Tennessee's chances, I like that one.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited about this game. Obviously, Kentucky's going to be excited. It's going to be a night game down there. They're going to play well, but I look for our guys to bounce back. I want to see our guys come out and play a full game. We have not played that full complimentary game, and we need to do it on the road.
How do you bounce back emotionally, Jason? How do you?
Well, you don't have a choice but to bounce back. I mean, these guys are programmed to turn the page, whether you win or you lose. You got to go back and get to work. And you look at a Kentucky team that last year had one of the worst offense lines in the conference. They're better this year, but Tennessee's strength is rushing a passer. So should be a good game for Tennessee.
You know, as players, you've got a couple games coming up that I think look a little tougher than maybe normally they might. Kentucky looks like a tougher game. You got a non-conference game against Geno Auriemma and UConn. But then the game at Missouri looks like a much tougher game. That's before you even get to Georgia. So if you're going to get to 9 wins, you got to go back to work.
Yeah, there's a lot of work to do. We have 2 tough games. I mean, you got Kentucky, you got UConn, you got Missouri. And both of those teams are looking to get some get back from last year, the last 2 years, really. So obviously those teams are going to play well. And both of those games are on the road, which is setting up for that big game at Georgia. So I got the crazy look. This is the
swine look again.
Listen, guys. You didn't just beat Kentucky and Missouri last 2 years.
You embarrassed them.
You embarrassed them.
Yeah. Okay.
So
all right.
We don't have Hendon. People think Tennessee is vulnerable. They're gonna want to get back against us. So we gotta be prepared for that.
All right, let's bring in our guest, which is Gabe Judy-Lally, a defensive back. By the way, I said I wasn't going to talk about bad calls. What in the world was the call they called on you? Okay, I'm not even going to go there. Gabe, you came into studio. You're beat up after that game. How physical was that game?
I mean, when you're playing a rivalry game, at the end of the day, both teams are going to try their hardest to get a win. They came out, punched us in the mouth, we punched them in the mouth back. I mean, everybody's beat up, but we got a game coming up this weekend that we really got to focus on, so we're over it now.
Yeah, Gabe, being a fifth-year guy, you've been you've played a lot of football, you played at Vandy, you played at BYU. Talk about how you just overcome that. What's going to be your message kind of to the guys this week about taking that next step forward and going to Kentucky and trying to get this dub?
I mean, first we have to learn from the mistakes that we made in the game. We didn't come out in the second half and have the same energy that we did in the first half. So for us to be able to play a complete ball game, we have to play all 4 quarters. So just talk to the guys and tell them, hey, we saw what we produced in the first half. If we can create that for all 4 quarters, we have our opportunity to win any game. And that's what we're going to do this coming weekend.
That's a voice of a leader right there. I was impressed with Gabe when he came in before the season. Anxious for Jason to go over for the Food City Player Perspective. That is next on the Volunteer Club Locker Room, powered by Spyre Sports.
The Volunteer Club Locker Room is brought to you by Ted Russell Ford, KOC, the official orthopedic partner of University of Tennessee Athletics, Better Mattress, Commercial Bank, Pilot, and KnoxvilleSmiles.com.
Life happens, and damage to your home can be extremely stressful. That's why it's important to find someone who offers efficient, quality work with financing options. Exterior Home Solutions, they value not only family, but community. And they're who I call when life happens, and you should too.
At Typical Insurance, you're just another senior.
That is the third health insurance commercial with seniors at a farmer's market.
Right? Don't get me wrong, I love a fresh heirloom, but it's like those companies think we're all the same.
That's why I chose Humana. Before I signed up, I spoke to someone who actually listened to what I needed. She told me about benefits that were right for me, like vision and dental, all in my budget. I finally feel in control. What are you doing?
Taking control.
Humana, a more human way to healthcare.
I'm an owner.
I am an owner.
I'm an owner. And we're locally owned. Gray Hodges has been serving the Knoxville area with quality craft-made cabinetry for over 7 decades now. Craft-Made manufactures high-quality kitchen and bath cabinets in a wide variety of finishes with modern and traditional styles to choose from. Visit one of our 4 locations and let a Gray Hodges owner show you the perfect craft-made design to fit your needs. Gray Hodges. Employee-owned, service perfect.
Matlock Tire Service and Auto Repair is proud to be celebrating 70 years of serving East Tennessee. That's 70 years of old-school customer service, trustworthy auto repair, and of course, great deals on tires. Each one of our 5 convenient East Tennessee locations feature family-friendly waiting areas, and you can schedule appointments and search for tires right on our website at matlocktireservice.com. Modern convenience, hometown values. For 70 years and counting, Matlock Tire Service and Auto Repair.
When you're 6'4" and 320 pounds like I am, finding a mattress is a challenge. That's why I went to Better Mattress for help. It's not about just selling big store brands. At Better Mattress, it's about making a mattress that fits the person's body type and their personal preferences. Look, after a big football game, this body is tired and sore. I have to have a mattress that helps me rest and rejuvenate. Big O and Better Mattress. Good night, just got better.
Your roof, it's the most important protection against nature for your home or your business. That's why I trust the experts at Exterior Home Solutions.
All right, time now for the Food City player perspective. Lally, Gabe Judy-Lally. We spent the whole commercial break working with me. Now, the next time we've got to work on Iamaleva.
Ooh.
Is that right?
You asked me, I
Nico,
said, I'm not trying.
Swain, what is it?
Say it, Swain.
Nico Iamaleva.
Wow. Was that right, Gabe?
I think so.
Is it right?
It's closer than Mark. It's closer than Mark.
I better get it figured out. I mean, he's supposed to be the man. A takeover, Jason.
We're here with Gabe Judy-Lally. There it is.
Bailed out.
Hey, Gabe, rocking the #1 jersey. I love you. You look great in it. What was the biggest adjustment for you coming over from Vanderbilt, going to BYU, and then coming to Tennessee?
Honestly, when I first got here and came to spring practice, going against the tempo versus the offense, my first day, out there huffing and puffing, I was like, this is kind of crazy because I played against Tennessee before, but one game doesn't do you justice.
Yeah.
Going out there after 21 periods of practice, going out there every single time, that was actually a big adjustment for me. But overall, everybody here has been really accommodating to me and just welcomed me like family, and that's the reason why I chose to come here.
What brought you here? I mean, I know you just mentioned that Tennessee was accommodating, but I know that Tennessee had to check off more than just the accommodating box for you to come here. What was it about Tennessee that led you to come here?
Yeah, I really wanted to be able to take the next step to be able to achieve my goals of going to the next level. I think that Tennessee brought me the coaching, the support, and, the state should be able to have that happen. I think that everybody here, the biggest goal is to win, and I wanted to go to a place where I could win and have an opportunity to, achieve everything that I've been dreaming for my whole life, and I think that Tennessee gives me that opportunity.
Texas A&M game was a special game for you because not only did you have a pick in that game, your team won, but you had a lot of family here, being from Texas. How special was that game for you?
It was super special, to come out and see my mom, and could tell she'd been crying all game, and seeing my stepdad, my friends, all my family. They're just super excited. When I go out there before every single game, I text everybody, tell them I love them, tell them go out there, play for them, play for the team. And it was just good for all that to culminate in a moment where, it was a tight game. We need something to be able to spark us, and I think that just really helped us.
I remember being a player at Tennessee, and, it's really easy to do interviews when you win, but what about when you lose? Florida game, Alabama game, you're out there doing interviews after the game. Why is that important for you to do?
Honestly, you just have to be able to weather a storm regardless if it's good or bad. I think that being able to just attest to how our team performed regardless of the result is something that I want to hold myself to. And, you can win from you can learn from a win, and you can learn from a loss too. So being able to take those moments and, look at what happened, I just take to be super important.
It's rare that you see a guy come in just for a couple months and already, one of the leaders, one of the vocal leaders. And it seems like you have, been that guy for this football team. What did it take for you to be able to come in here, have a voice, and guys on the football team listen to you that haven't known you for more than a year?
I mean, honestly, I'm more of a lead by example type guy, so it might not always sound vocal, but I mean, I go out there and try to do my job to the best of my ability every single day, if it's on the field, in the classroom, off the field. So I think that, when you're out on the football field, when you're in the classroom, I mean, you're learning just by watching things. You watch film, you see what's going on, and I think that guys are just able to pick up on those types of things. And, I think that we have a really veteran team, so it's not a lot of guys that need, a lot of rah-rah speeches, but it's just guys that peep what you're doing and then just move accordingly from there.
Tough loss on Saturday versus Alabama, but you play Kentucky, you got Missouri, you got Georgia coming up. How do you turn the page? How do you get ready to play the next one?
Well, Coach Hype says it all the time. You got to let Saturday night and Sunday sting. Watch the film, see what you need to improve on, and then Monday you turn the page. You come in and you understand that you have a different opponent, different strengths. They're going to try to attack us from different areas. You be able to pinpoint your strengths and see what their weaknesses are to be able to attack them too. I think that we just have to go back, focus on the fundamentals. It sounds redundant, but football, if you do the little things right, you have the best opportunity to win. Coach Hype said a lot, doing the ordinary at a really high level, and we have to be able to do that this week.
How do you bounce back after either giving up a catch or tough call that's called on you? We're not going to go into detail about that, but like individually, mentally, how do you play the next play when something bad like that happens on the football field?
This is going to sound really funny, but right when you use the restroom, you have to flush it, right? Because if you don't, you're going to leave a mess, right? And then you think about it, it could smell and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I definitely think about it that way. You got to flush it. You got to make sure that you can snap in clear and go to the next play. And it's just something that I really lived by. I got taught that a long time ago when I was playing football in Little League. So I just understand that each play is independent of each other. Just because a ball is caught there, I can get an interception next play. We can get a sack the next play. It doesn't matter what's going to happen. I just got to be able to flush it and go on to the next play.
Hey, wise words by number one on the field and number one in Mark Packer's heart.
It's good to have a number one that's a leader finally.
100%. Listen, such good words from Gabe. We need that kind of leadership. It's going to be important for this game coming up at Kentucky.
There we go. We're awfully close on this screen. Let's take a break and come back and talk about keys for the Kentucky game when we come back.
Real close.
The Volunteer Club Locker Room is brought to you by the Volunteer Club. Real Vol fans are members of the Volunteer Club. Matlock Tire, Gray Hodges, Humana, D1 Training, and Aqua Clear Water Systems.
At Glass Doctor, our trained specialists are experts at fixing foggy and cracked glass.
Looks great.
You're all set.
What we can't fix is your view.
Call the Glass Doctor, we'll fix your paint. Oh, yeah.
I'm Dr. Mike Costa, Malone & Costa Dentistry. You can find us at KnoxvilleSmiles.com. I'm standing here in front of a dental robot. We're one of 2 dentists in the state of Tennessee that utilize this cutting-edge technology. Do you have a broken tooth, a tooth that's in pain, or a denture that doesn't fit well? Maybe you're a little anxious? You can come in and we offer comprehensive sedation services and utilize this awesome technology to give you precise, accurate care. If you think this technology can help you, visit our website at KnoxvilleSmiles.com. I look forward to helping you.
Knoxville is my home. I was born and raised here, and I was blessed to raise my family here. This community is one that I'm proud to live in and serve every day. At Ted Russell Ford for over 50 years, we've been Knoxville's hometown dealer. Helping our friends and neighbors own their first car or their dream car or truck has been our absolute pleasure. At Ted Russell Ford Lincoln, we will continue to serve our community because East Tennessee, you've always supported us. Thank you.
Visit us at one of our 2 locations on Parkside Drive or Kingston Pike, or online at tedrussellford.net.
Community banking is about location and much more. It's about family,
We reside in your community. We are a part of your community. At Commercial Bank, our commitment extends beyond the walls of our branches. It's displayed each day in the opportunities we provide, the money we give back, and the time we commit, all to help improve the lives of the people, families, and businesses that make our communities great. Commercial Bank, life made better.
I was the star around here until Glass Doctor installed this perfect shower enclosure. Now they look at me like, well, there you go.
Call the Glass Doctor, we'll fix your pains. Oh, yeah.
Oh, goodness. Inside the orange with Humana, who was the player of the game? I'm going with this guy. Joe Milton did everything he could, played really well, put Tennessee in the opportunity, gave him a chance to win this game. Just didn't get it done.
I don't want to hear nothing about Joe Milton this week, y'all.
I did it for you.
Yep,
I
Joe
did
Milton,
it for you.
Joe Milton did his thing this week. I don't want to hear nothing about Joe Milton.
I still got your look 4 times tonight, and you even gave Chris one of those looks.
I didn't know we were like this one. I thought we were good.
We are good.
Taking a new step in our relationship. Here we go. Keys to the game against Kentucky. Chris, go ahead.
Listen, this is going to be a tough game, but at the end of the day, our guys need to go there. We need to play. We need to just make sure everything's good. It's going to be a road game. It's at night. We're fine. That'll be perfectly fine. Let's run the ball. Let's get back. We need to get right. We need to get Sampson. We need to get those guys going and play a full game, guys. We've played a first half. We played a second half. We just haven't put it together to do that. We have to do that in this game. It's a big win.
I don't think Tennessee completely shuts down Kentucky's run, which is why I say contain the run. You can't let, Ray Davis go for 300 yards, 200 yards like he did against Florida. So contain the run, very, very important. And no full quarter droughts. We saw that Florida, we saw that this past Saturday versus Alabama. Can't let that happen. And then win the turnover margin. Kentucky's turning the football over. Make sure that we don't do the same thing, if not more. So those 3 keys are mine.
I would say that it would be nice to get the football to start the second half. However, you got to start the game, and you jumped on Alabama the other day. So it's kind of like pick your poison. We're out of time. I know we've got a lot to say. We'll do that again next week right here on the Volunteer Club Locker Room, powered by Spyre Sports. This is the Players Show. Thanks to Gabe Judy-Lally for coming. Did I say it?
You said it right.
I said it right for coming out tonight. We'll see you next week.
You're scared to say it, ain't you, Chris?